This is where the Oasis of Love first opened. Pastor Walter Pryor had a vision of the ministry, and he came up with this name, the Oasis of Love Full Gospel Church. And in doing so, when he started that ministry, he specifically said he didn't want to start his ministry in a storefront building. Nothing against storefront churches, but that's just not what Pastor Pryor had envisioned. So got in contact with the good people of Seventh-day Adventist Church, and they rented their church to us on Sundays because they only have church on Saturdays. And so we would come in either late Saturday night or early Sunday morning and set up that one door right there, the door on the sign. We would come every week, man, and we had to haul our drums, Rex bringing his keyboard, J-Dub's bringing his amp. Our first Congo player was Wayne Carlton, my cousin, before Gina took over. But we had to haul all this stuff in here on Sunday, and then haul it out on Sunday afternoon, and then bring it back on Thursday for rehearsal, and then take it back out, and then come back on the weekend to load it all over again. It was quite the task for the musicians, but that's what we did. But Pastor Pryor had this vision of this ministry, man, so we opened up here, and it was quite the experience, man. We started here, man, and it's a pretty sanctuary. I mean, it was absolutely miniature, but it was very clean, very, very nice, and we had some good church in there, man. We didn't have our own sign, so we created. I had hand painted a sign that said "Oasis of Love Full Gospel Church," and we would stick it in the yard on Sundays. And yeah, my mom was so happy, man, and my brothers. We just wanted the ministry to be good, man. We first choir had like 7 members in it, and it was really just family members, and we just got up there and we was singing and enjoying this, man. This is the beginning. We didn't have any idea, or at least I didn't have any idea, that 30 years later we would still be going. But that March in 1993, we started right here, 320 Damon Street, Jackson, Michigan, man. And Pastor Pryor got up there and he would bring that word, man. He was powerful, and he still is powerful, but he had that teaching aspect. You know, he wasn't about trying to get you excited. He was about bringing the true word of God, and we were all anxious for him to get started in a ministry, and he chose to do it here at 320 Damon Street. So thank God to the Summit Seventh-day Adventist. Quick story, we still do our Tuesdays and Thursday services because those were the only days that were available in this church. So we would do Sunday, and we couldn't do Monday or Wednesday, so we did Tuesday and Thursday, and we just made that our tradition. The reason why we do Tuesday and Thursday services, not because it was something that was written down, but that was the only time we had available from this church because we rented it. So yeah, this is powerful, man. I haven't been back in this parking lot since 1994 when we left going to South Street. But I'm quite sure there's a lot of other stories, but this, if you want to put it down on marker, this is the beginning here. The actual physical beginning of Oasis Love Full Gospel Church took place in this building. We came from that location, we moved to 1217 East South Street, down here on the corner of South Street and Losey. We moved here in March of 1994. And I will say this was where our ministry really took off. Pastor Pryor was bringing that word, Pastor Walter T. Pryor was bringing that word, and the ministry began to grow and grow and grow. And yeah, this is our, I'm gonna call it our foundational place. It was amazing, you know, we were at the old facility renting, and we didn't know how or when we were going to get a new building, but Pastor Pryor had prophesied that we're going to have our own building within a year. And sure enough, man, When in years time, this building went up on the market, and before it even hit the market, we got notification, and we came here. It was prophesied that the old car is going to be in a parking lot and all this kind of stuff, man. And wow, you understand, the dirt was dirt. This was a dirt parking lot. It wasn't even gravel. It was dirt. And we got in, it was filled with all kinds of stuff, man. This was our church, though. This was we bought it, and it was ours. And that meant something so much more than just renting where we were. You know, we thank God for where we were, but this was ours. And we stayed here for, man, 24 years? Yeah, 24 years we stayed in this building and made it our own. And it's a real blessing, man, to have this building. I'm telling y'all, my kids grew. This y'all were at. This is that place, man. Yeah. So when we went in there, man, it was an older congregation that owned the building before we did, but we come in with all these instruments and life and style, and we had to make it our own. You know, our people went to work painting in the building, decorating. We started out with old wooden pews. I don't know if people remember that. We had old wooden pews, and we hung onto those for a while, and then we ended up getting some chairs, and our choir was growing. I think we got up to over a 40-member choir. We had robes, man, and the kitchen, although that area wasn't big, the food coming out of there was slamming. You know, Mother Prather doing her thing, and the rest of the crew doing their thing. We would have big dinners and fellowships, and it was great, man. I have some great memories here at this church. We had the classroom upstairs. We would take our youth for the upstairs classroom, and Sunday schools. You know, my session would be up in the choir stand, and we had to utilize the building every inch of it because it was not that big, but it was. We made it our own, and we made it special, and we stayed here. And we loved it, and we came here every single Sunday. And I can't believe the amount of instrumentation we had in there. That little building, it's not a slight to anybody, but that building is small, but it held so much power. And it was just special. It had a nursery. It had a lot of stuff in that little building, but we appreciated it, and we loved it, and made it our own, and made it cozy. When people came in, they felt the warmth of Oasis of Love, Full Gospel Church. That's something that Pastor Pryor had envisioned, you know, that it's welcoming to everybody. So now, fast forward, you know, we moved into South Street in 1994. An opportunity came to relocate. And we looked into it, and just to keep a long story shorter, a lot of people felt in their spirit that this next building would be ours, the one that's located on 800 Cooper Street. Went through a lot of stuff to get that building, man. The realtors didn't want to show it to us, all kinds of different things, but we knew in our spirit that building belonged to us. So anyway, in August of 2015, we purchased the location where we're at now, which is the new Oasis of Love. You know, we call it Oasis of Love 2 because we consider the older building on South Street 1. But either way, this building here, man, this is God sent. We really felt that we were growing out there on South Street, but there was something that we just couldn't do. We still weren't truly connected to the city that we were serving. And when this came open, the opportunity to move here, we took that opportunity. With God's help, He made everything work out in our favor. And so we moved from 1217 East South Street to 800 South Cooper Street here in the beautiful metropolitan of Jackson, Michigan. And this is when things begin to change yet again. We are more connected with the city. People that actually came said, "Oh, you guys moved into town." They considered the other church out of town. I didn't realize that, but there are no sidewalks to get there. This is right in the heart of the city, and many people moved here. Came here just to fellowship with us, and man, and we get visitors on a weekly basis, and it's just a marvelous place to be. And I'm so happy we came here. Now, let me say this: I am the current pastor, and this was a Pastor Pryor, my father, had this vision that we were going to do this. And although I knew at the time I was ministering, I knew that eventually I would probably be the pastor of the Oasis Love Full Gospel Church. I was just as happy to serve and do everything I could just to make the ministry grow. We were in the city. We can help people. We're connected. It's a bigger facility. We could do more things. We could have more adventures, and so more people could come in, and it was just a blessing. And so yeah, this is that place, man. We moved here in 2015, and y'all know the story. Pastor Pryor pastored here for 3 more years, and then in 2018, he handed me the reins of the ministry, and now we're just trying to do the best that we can not to mess up what God is doing. So this is that place, y'all. And this is not the last place, but this is the place we're in right now for this season. Oasis of Love. Full Gospel Church. 800 South Cooper So we moved from a 5,000 square foot facility to nearly a 20,000 square foot facility, which is, 4 times larger. But either way, this sanctuary, many of you know this was a already established ministry here in the city of Jackson, and they made a lot of modifications to this old building, which used to be, different clubs here in the city of Jackson. But when they modified it, some of you may not recognize, but this to my right, which would be to the east, to the west, would be what they had as the front of the church, where their pulpit is, where our band section is now, was their front, and their sanctuary ran this way long. Well, I know it was God put it in my spirit that, and I went to the board and I said, hey, I have a thought process that I want this sanctuary to be wider than it is long, because we can have a more personable feel. That person in the back is not way in the back, and that person to the side is not way to the sides, but we're all in this together. So we made the modifications and we put the band up there, but it required for us to build a stage. And so some handy people in the ministry came, and we built the stage that's put here. But before we did that, we had to extend this wall. This wall where, that most of you don't know, but we added on to that wall. I also said I wanted accessible behind. There was no door behind there, so we put a door back there, and now you can go the whole hallway length. But this was just a part of the vision of God. I know He gave this to me, and it's been working out ever since, and we've had so many people help us out, man. I mean, the chairs, we brought some chairs from the old sanctuary, and then there was another ministry in Lansing that was closing their doors, and they gave us bargain basement deal on their sanctuary chairs, and it just fit here, and we did that. And then over in the fellowship hall, the tables and the chairs, all was from that ministry, and we just got it at such a great price. God was making room. God was making opportunities. God was blessing this ministry. And so because we put the stage here, we said, man, we can get some monitors. We put monitors up on the wall, and then we also needed to change the sound booth. The sound booth was back over there, so we had to build one. So we built a sound booth, and oh my goodness. And now I'm looking at sound booth is now a video station. It's everything. And God is just blessing this ministry over and over and over again. And the people, man, the people we have in this ministry That's what makes it. It's not the buildings. It's not the music, although I love every musician. It's the people. It's the people that make Oasis that fertile spot in the desert that we call life. And man, 30 years. 30 years ago, I was I was what, 20, just about 24 years old. And I didn't see this then, but I thank God that he saw it. And I'm just telling you, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. Pastor Pryor has this saying that he said it. He took it from somebody else, but we put it for us. Oasis Love Full Gospel Church. We don't want to be the best church in the community, but the best church for the community. And that's our ultimate goal, to be the best church for the community. Not a competition, but we're not going to let down our guard. We're going to do what God told us to do. So that's it, y'all. 30 years and climbing. Man, I'm telling you, we are not done yet. We have great things in store for this ministry. Big ups to my dad, Pastor Walter T. Pryor, my mom, the late Roberta Pryor. Thank you guys for starting this ministry. My life has ultimately changed because of this ministry. So those that's involved with us from here on out, I'm letting you know, we are not done yet.